Congratulations. Christopher Espino.
Yes, I'm here.
Amazing. Do you hereby solemnly swear that you will, to the best of your ability, support the Constitution and the bylaws of the Undergraduate Students Association of UCLA, and that you will, to the best of your ability, promote, maintain, and extend the worth, value, and the name of the University of California?
Yes, I do.
Congratulations. Daniel Leal. Do you hereby solemnly swear that you will, to the best of your ability, support the Constitution and the bylaws of the Undergraduate Students Association of UCLA, and that you will, to the best of your ability, promote, maintain, and extend the worth, value, and the name of the University of California?
Yes, I do.
Congratulations. Divine Trewick. Do you hereby solemnly swear that you will, to the best of your ability, support the Constitution and the bylaws of the Undergraduate Students Association of UCLA, and that you will, to the best of your ability, promote, maintain, and extend the worth, value, and name of the University of California? I do. Congratulations. Edison Chua. Do you hereby solemnly swear that you will, to the best of your ability, support the Constitution and the bylaws of the Undergraduate Students Association of UCLA, and that you will, to the best of your ability, promote, maintain, and extend the worth, value, and name of the University of California?
Yes, I do.
Congratulations. Joy Huang. Do you hereby solemnly swear that you will, to the best of your ability, support the Constitution and the bylaws of the Undergraduate Students Association of UCLA, and that you will, to the best of your ability, promote, maintain, and extend the worth, value, and name of the University of California?
Yes, I do.
Congratulations. Nico Marone. Do you hereby solemnly swear that you will, to the best of your ability, support the Constitution and the bylaws of the Undergraduate Students Association of UCLA, and that you will, to the best of your ability, promote, maintain, and extend the worth, value, and the name of the University of California?
Yes, I do.
Congratulations. Hannah Yip. Hiram Yoon. Do you hereby solemnly swear that you will, to the best of your ability, support the Constitution and bylaws of the Undergraduate Students Association of UCLA, and that you will, to the best of your ability, promote, maintain, and extend the worth, value, and name of the University of California? Congratulations. Kaya Tana. Do you hereby solemnly swear that you will, to the best of your ability, support the Constitution and the bylaws of the Undergraduate Students Association of UCLA, and that you will, to the best of your ability, promote, maintain, and extend the worth, value, and name of the University of California? Congratulations. And I believe that is everyone. Did I miss-
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much.
Real quick, I would just like to congratulate you all on your elections. Congratulations. I look forward to seeing what this body does next year.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Judicial Board, for the swearing-in process. And again, congratulations to the new incoming council of the academic year 2025-2026. I'm excited to start off this first council meeting, and I will now call this meeting to order at 7:18 p.m. Can we start the attendance sheet? Has everyone signed it? If not, it's going to be passed around. Perfect. We need a motion to approve the agenda for May 20th. Can I get a motion, please? Wait, Jaya,
I motion.
is there a second?
I second the motion.
Present.
Go, yeah, Jonathan.
Yeah, everyone just take a good gander at your parliamentary procedure sheet on there. When you're making a motion, you want to be as specific as possible. So if you're moving to approve today's agenda, please include the date and things of that sort. Also, I think Nico might have had an amendment.
Yeah, Nico, sorry.
Can I make an amendment to the agenda, please?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Can I scratch brewing card grant allocations and the laundry grant allocations, please? Thank you.
Are there any other amendments? Okay.
Can I add a resolution in defense of SEVP protections and international security at UCLA?
Can you motion? Sorry.
I motion to add a resolution in defense of SEVP protections and international security at UCLA.
Is there a second?
Second.
Nico seconds. Are there any other amendments to the agenda? Jaya? Oh, do you have to vote? Okay. All in favor? I'm so sorry. Are there any in opposition? All abstaining? So with a vote to 13 to 0, that motion is approved. Yeah, Jaya?
Can I motion to add to the agenda a resolution in support of Save VIPS initiative and rejection of pausing AAP access and retention programs?
Is there a second?
Second.
Sherry seconds. All in favor? All against? All abstaining? With a vote to 13 to 0, that amendment is added. Divine?
I motion to remove the ARC allocations discussion from the agenda, please.
Strike.
Oh,
Up. Yeah. No. Go. This is going to be a long meeting. Sorry, y'all. Chris?
Hello, may we please scratch academic success referendum and travel grant mini fund from the agenda? Thank you.
Any other amendments to the agenda?
I move to strike the SFS allocations from the agenda.
Any other amendments? Yes, Larry?
I move to strike bag allocations from the agenda.
Any other amendments? And so now it's approval, right, Jonathan?
Yeah, just a little parliamentary procedure tip. So when you're approving your agenda, things that you need to motion and get an actual vote of approval for are things that are action items. So things you're going to vote on. For instance, the resolutions. If you're going to add a resolution the day of, that needs to be a vote of council to add to the agenda. If you have like, for say, a funding body or something else on the agenda that you want to strike, or if you want to add like just a discussion item, that doesn't need to be a motion in itself. So you can just say, can we strike X, Y, and Z, or can we add a discussion item on X, Y, and Z?
Are there any other amendments to the agenda? Okay, so we'll get a vote now. Nico?
I motion to approve the USAC agenda for May 27th, 2025.
Is there a second? Can you speak into the mic, please? All in favor? All against? All abstaining? With a vote to 13 to 0, the agenda is approved. And do we have to approve minutes from last week's meeting, Jonathan? Okay. Can we get approval for the meeting minutes for USAC's meeting in May 20th? Can I get a motion?
Can I recommend that you wait on that and then we'll have Kendall send them out again? Because unless all of you have reviewed last week's USAC minutes.
No one.
So let's pause on that and do them next week.
Perfect. Thank you, Jonathan. We'll now begin public comments. Just as a reminder, each public commenter gets 2 minutes to speak. Public comment is only open to undergraduate students at UCLA. Please challenge ideas, not individuals. Please use gender inclusive and respectful language. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom from accountability. Each speaker will be given 2 minutes and the opportunity to speak only once. Please do not use dehumanizing language. With that, we are going to start public comment. Please come up to the microphone and we will call on you.
Hi there. Oh, is this on or?
Sorry, can we get a timer for 2 minutes?
Is it already turned on? Hello? Oh, it is. Okay, awesome.
Sorry, give
Perfect.
1 sec.
Gotcha.
Perfect. You may begin.
Good evening. My name is Gunnar Roth. I'm here tonight as the vice chair of CalPERG. Typically at this time, I would go over a weekly update on the goings-on of student activism on campus. However, seeing as that is the first meeting of the new USAC Council, I'm going to be doing some introductions instead. So as mentioned, I represent CalPERG, which stands for the California Public Interest Research Group. CalPERG was founded back in the 1970s and has been on campus ever since, working to represent the interests of the public for over 15 years now. Over the years, we've made strides on a number of projects in line with the interests of students. The general idea is that we represent the public interest, which is the interests of students, not just the interests of private or corporate lobbyists. Now, as far as those projects that I speak of that we've worked on, we have made huge strides when it comes to things like plastic bag bans and legislation, which we have passed recently and has been on the cutting edge of environmentalism in California. Similarly, we've been doing this work for, like I said, 50 years. Back in the 70s, we were actually one of the groups that helped push the legislation that mandates seatbelts in cars. So safety is a huge thing for us, and representing the public and not just what, helps the bottom dollar is what we do. Similarly, one of our largest campaigns that we have run over the course of the last 50 years has been our new voter project, which is a huge thing for us. At the end of the day, as far as we're concerned, CalPERG is a mode through which we can enfranchise students and have their voices heard. So registering over 2 million new students over the course of the last 40 or so years is a huge deal to us. In general, I just wanted to come up here and say CalPERG is a student activism organization that really looks forward to working with you guys, representatives of students, to push forward the ideas and interests and causes that they care about. Thank you guys so much. We're very excited to work with USAC going forward. Thank you all for your time. Good evening and good night.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here for public comment today? Come up to the mic.
There we go. Hello, everyone, and good evening. My name is Kali Jackson, and I'm a fourth-year political science student at UCLA, and I serve as the vice chairperson of the African Student Union at UCLA and the chairperson of the Harambe Council, which is the governing body of ASU at UCLA. I am here representing the African Student Union and the Harambe Council to urge you all as the council to continue to push on saving VIPs and the AAP program. As a student who has benefited greatly from the AAP program, it is a program that really benefits students and just ensuring that all students at UCLA, and more specifically, Black students, because I'm part of the African diaspora at UCLA, have access to all programs and initiatives and resources at UCLA, and it is really vital that we continue that effort at UCLA. And so being able to make sure that our students have that access and our students are being able to be retained at UCLA by way of the AAP program, the VIPS program, I urge you all to stand with us for that. As the African Student Union Vice Chairperson, I have been able to be a part of various programs and initiatives, such as honoring Bunchy Carter and John Huggins, who were Black Panthers at UCLA, and just ensuring that all students at UCLA, and again, Black students at UCLA, were retained at UCLA and had access at UCLA. And so again, I urge you all to stand with us and just keeping VIPS and AAP at UCLA. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Good evening. Hello, everyone. My name is Sednai Dingle, graduating senior here at UCLA, and I rise to urge this body to support Saving VIPS and the AAP program. As a VIPS scholar and as a first-generation college student, I didn't have much access when I was in high school to any college resources, but VIPS accepted me where I was at, and they gave me those resources, and they helped me matriculate into an institution like UCLA. But not only did they help me get into UCLA, but they helped with retention. All 4 years I've been here at UCLA, they have provided a scholarship, they have provided quarterly meetings where they would be able to meet regularly with scholars and counselors, and I've been able to thrive and happily say we'll graduate in a few weeks from now. I also say that since 2005, which was the start of the VIPS program, they have helped hundreds of to thousands of students through their programs, whether it's going to UCLA or matriculating to other UCs or just any four-year public institution, and have helped with retention. So I strongly urge you all to support VIPS. Thank you.
Is there anyone else here for public comment? Yes, you may approach the mic.
Hello, everyone. My name is Wyatt Lewis. I am a current sophomore here at UCLA. I am also part of cohort 16 of the Vice Provost Initiative for Pre-College Scholars. I urge the board to allocate proper funding to AAP and VIPS as a whole. VIPS has made a tremendous impact on my life. I first started VIPS 10th grade of high school, so it's been about 4 years now. Even though my first year was during Zoom, the sheer compassion, commitment, and care that the VIPS team took to put on more than an efficient 3-week program was astounding. From our intense writing course, taught by a more than polished professor, to cooking and lifestyle classes that allowed us a little break from our sufficient workload, the 3-week program was quite immersive, even though virtual. The next year, I participated in the 5-week program, which was on campus and entailed of daily writing classes, Fiat Lux courses, along with a pseudo-sociology class and mentor meetings. Moreover, besides summer, the VIPS program has quarterly Saturday academies, mentor checkups, and quarterly team events that promote community building and overall connection. The VIPS program isn't just a program, it's a family. Many of us have began lifelong friendships through this program. We will keep in contact with each other, often to see each other on campus. Some of us also work for VIPS as student staff during the year and summer. Our mentors stay in contact and check on us on our progression throughout the program, and our endearing directors create comfortable and a welcoming environment for our students who look like me and come from similar backgrounds as myself. In conclusion, the VIPS program has provided me and countless others the platform and safety to express ourselves in our own way. They have uplifted us to become our best selves and supported us to continue to strive for creativity and intersectionality within our thinking. The progressive academics offered have challenged us to think outside of social normalities and instead come up with our own pedagogies of self-education. VIPS is a vital program and that needs the proper funding in order for it to function well. Please support VIPS and AAP. Thank you and good night.
Is there anyone else here for public comment today?
My name is Jade Faris. I am a current freshman at UCLA. So this program obviously means a lot to me, considering that I just got into UCLA. Well, not just got into UCLA, but I am one of the more recent cohort members of this program. VIPS obviously came into my life around 10th grade. This program really did help me in terms of understanding the college process, taking rigorous courses, and kind of having help applying here and understanding what I needed to put on my application, and obviously the tools that I needed to succeed here if I were to like become a student here. I initially never really thought I would be able to go to college because I come from a single parent household, and I never really foresaw myself even being in an institution as prestigious as UCLA. So being able to be exposed to a campus and like college level courses as a high school student really did impact the way I did see myself in terms of student, and it made me aim for higher goals, especially as a Black student here, being able to see myself among a campus of people that, you know, it's very diverse, but also it's approximately 5% of Black people here. So I was able to really see myself going here, and having VIPS really did help me to just push and have the drive to want to go here. So thank you.
Thank you. And then we have a public comments online. No, we can go ahead and move online for now. Kalila?
Hello, everyone. My name is Kalila Williams, and I'm the chairperson of the African Student Union. I am speaking in full support of the resolution to preserve and sustain the UCLA Vice Provost Initiative Scholars Program, or VIPS. VIPS is not just a program, but it is really an opportunity in which Black students and Brown students from LAUSD are supported and empowered. This program, since its foundation, has bridged the gap between high school and higher education through mentorship and academic enrichment, as well as it is a retention program that begins as early as as ninth grade for students. And we've seen the proof that this program works. 100% of the VIP students graduate from high school, and an overwhelmingly amount go to enroll in four-year colleges, including right here at UCLA. But these outcomes don't just happen because of magic. They happen because when you really think about it, it's the intentional investment of this program investing in students who are too often overlooked. So it'd be truly devastating to see such a program with such proven success records threatened by budget cuts and truly negligence by bureaucracy. I think that it's important that we, support this resolution, because stripping away VIPs doesn't just hurt individual students, it weakens UCLA's commitment to equity and access. This is the main opportunity that inner city kids from LA have to get to higher education opportunities. And so when we're considering this, we're not only impacting the students that are coming to UCLA, but also many individuals who would be losing their jobs and the support retention services that they have. So as we face nationwide attacks on DEI, UCLA must not contribute to this backslide. So I urge this council to pass this resolution and demand transparency and the necessary funding for VIPs to continue. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there any other virtual public commenters? You may begin your public comment.
Hi everyone, my name is Malia Frazier. I am a second year at UCLA, and I will be the 2025 to 2026 chairperson for the African Student Union. I am also a VIP scholar from the cohort C16. Just giving a little bit of history about how this program began to start. It was a direct response to the lack of African American students admitted into UCLA that were not athletes. I would like to just emphasize that we're like UCLA can agree that Black students are good enough to be on their field and play in their sports, but we're not good enough to be here for academically, and that's how the VIPS program started. Without this program, I don't think I would be nearly as successful. And just this program is a social justice oriented program, and it builds up the next generation of youth leaders. Aside from academic wise, this program has been very important to my development as a student, but also a student activist and leader on campus. I urge you all to support this resolution and just stop the dismantling, and just also to do funding of AAP programs. These programs with them taking funding from these programs, it is a direct way to keep students at the bottom, like students from minority communities not being able to achieve higher education, because without the help of these support programs, we don't know what we would do or who's here to support us. A lot of you guys run your campaigns on DEI policies and supporting underrepresented students and underrepresented programs. So it would be very disheartening to see if anyone says no to this program when you guys use Black students for votes and everything else. But when it comes to advocating for the rights of us, sometimes that's not always there. So I urge all of you guys to just please help us and help us continue this program that is not only important to college students today, but also important to students that are in high school that want to achieve higher education, but they're unable to do so because of their background and funding. And VIPS is a way, it's like a direct lifeline for students to pursue higher education. This program is very important. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We can now move back to in-person public comment. Are there any other public comments? You may approach the mic.
Okay. Good evening, Council. My name is Jazzy Bermejo, and I'm the current president of Samahang Filipino here at UCLA, the oldest and largest Filipinx organization on campus. And I'm standing here with ASU, or standing here on behalf of SP with ASU to push for tangible support of equitable funding allocation from BOD and of VIPS, AAP, and other DEI initiatives in the face of administrative repression by the university. For the past month, SP, its community members, and other allied organizations have mobilized out to public comment to rise for our rights and rise for our education. We push to get the funding our cultural night and graduation ceremony needs and deserves, and also call for a systemic change from the extraneously neutral BOD guidelines to ensure financial stability and support beyond this year after facing years of financial insecurity under UCLA. This call was rooted in our recognition of the university's failure to uplift the historically marginalized communities it uses to champion diversity. When we call these issues out, we're told that there's nothing to do but wait and that they have no money left to give. But history has shown us time and time again that a critical consciousness and decisiveness to act is a powerful tool when combined with people power in making what the institution calls impossible possible. This year, we were able to secure the funding needed for PGRAD and SPCN, but we have yet to see how this support will be systemically sustained. On this note, we can see the same institutional neglect in regards to the concerns raised by the proposal sponsored by our Gen Rep 2 and ASU. The federal government has shown its clear attacks on communities like ASU and SP, but the university has only shown itself to be silent, stagnant, or complicit. Students that benefit from programs like VIPS, AAP, and other access and retention initiatives are crucial in creating a space for individuals that have historically faced institutional barriers to and within higher education. Without them, the systemic barriers faced by the students they serve will only be exacerbated. It's in this that I call on the Council as students with the positionality and potential to create tangible change within and beyond the university, as candidates who ran on promises of serving communities like ASU and SP, to vote yes on the resolution proposed by Gen Rep 2 Jaya and ASU, and to also vote to change point 5 under funding eligibility and rules of the BOD guidelines to include language that allows the adjustment of funding for programming that engages historically underserved student populations. Thank you.
Thank you. I think for the sake of time, for the sake of time, can we only get maybe 2 more public comments? Are there any other public commenters?
Okay, awesome. Good evening. My name is Dan Williams. I'm a 4th-year poli-sci major, and I don't believe I'd be here talking to you guys today without the VIPS and AAP program. So I'll be discussing a little bit why that the resolution to keep this program is necessary for the future generations that come after my time at UCLA. So for one, some of my peers and I, for one, have come from low-income households. I come from a household with only one parent. High school background is the highest education they've received. And growing up, I would always hear about go to college, but I wouldn't understand how to navigate that. And VIPS was actually always consistent with showing me how to do it and what it looks like to be in those spaces through being in those classes and talking to a huge network of counselors and a huge body of Black people who are in grad school, who have graduated from grad school, people that I have never come face to face with growing up. So I thought that was amazing and very insightful for me to see and connect and be inspired by those people And from there, I was able to, have my personal statements and my experience and understand what it means to be pursuing a higher education as a person of color, especially somebody who is not just Black, but also half Armenian. I was able to really discover that other side of myself and understand why it's important, especially in this country, in this time, why those retention programs are so important. And so for this resolution to not be passed would just be a step in the wrong direction, in the backwards direction. So I please urge you guys to make sure this resolution gets passed to keep VIPS and AAP. Thank you.
Thank you. And then we'll take our final public comment for the day.
Hi, my name is Shindy Haven. I'm also poli-sci public affairs major. I want to congratulate you all on your new positions. Thank you for hearing us today. For me, I want to speak on behalf of myself, but also my siblings. We were all members of the VIPS organization. I was C14, my brother was C11, graduated from UCLA, and my sister was C15. And this program exponentially increased our chances of getting into a high-performing four-year university, and especially a prestigious one like UCLA. VIPS is a huge family. Even my mother has come back and has been able to interview for next cohorts coming into the program. And it's been really important for the retention as we've come into UCLA to continue to bring in students who don't have access to these same resources that maybe we did, or for many schools that didn't, in high school and even at the middle school level, because we have a King's program as well. During my time at UCLA, I've tried to give back through either our King's program or our 2-week or 3-week program, as well as our 5-week as a mentor. And then even through AAP, the peer learning program is a huge aspect for VIP students who come into UCLA. This is a place for students to get tutoring and resources and be able to get mentors where they may not have had that before in their hometown or even in their high school experience. And this severely helps their chances at being very prosperous at UCLA and also having, again, the resources to ultimately graduate, like many of us are able to do this in a few weeks. So I just wanted to, again, urge the council to please pass this resolution and just know that a lot of us here are living examples of how successful this program has been and how it should be continued on for a few more years at least. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Seeing that there are no more public comments, I'm going to end public comment at 7:46 p.m. We'll move on now to funding allocations. Just for confirmation, the capital contingency and contingency programming, those have to be voted on, and then the rest, just move forward.
Are by consent. So unanimous consent is a parliamentary procedure term where essentially just means Diego will call for any dissent. And if there is no dissent, then it passes by unanimous consent. If there is dissent, then you'll just move on towards a regular vote.
And I just say, is there any opposition to approving? Okay, perfect. With that being said, we will begin with capital contingency with Bethany.
Hi, this week we had a total capital contingency program request of, sorry, I had contingency up first, $497.17, and we recommend an allocation of $497.17 for 2 non-USAC entities. And I'm happy to answer any questions, and I've also just pasted it in the chat.
Okay, so the way this is going to work is I'm going to have to ask someone to motion to approve, and then again, someone to second. The terminology is, can you open up the Zoom to get what Bethany dropped? So the language is for someone to motion for a capital contingency request of $497.17 for 2 non-USAC entities. Tommy.
All right. I motion to approve this week's capital contingency request for a total of $497.17 for 2 non-USAC entities.
Is there a second?
I second that motion.
Seconds. All in favor? Please put your hands down. All against? And all abstaining with a vote to 13-0. That is approved. Bethany, can we move on to contingency programming, please?
Yeah, this week we had a total contingency program request of $79,452.09, and we recommend an allocation of $14,681 for 30 non-USAC entities. And again, happy to answer any questions, and I've also pasted it in the chat.
Tommy,
I motion to approve total contingency programming request of $79,452.09. Oh, my bad. I motion to approve recommendation of $14,681 to 30 non-USAC entities for contingency programming.
Second.
second. Okay. Tommy motions, Joy seconds. All in favor? Please put your hands down. All against? All abstaining? With a vote to 13 to 0, that is approved. Hannah isn't here. Should we strike that? Okay, there's one. We can now move on to TGIF. with
TGIF
Joy.
recommends an allocation of $3,400 to 3 non-USAC entities and 0 USAC entities.
Is there any opposition to approving? Okay, Jonathan.
Yeah, sorry. TGIF is special in that TGIF does not require USAC approval per the referendum that was passed. So when Joy gives you your TGIF numbers, it's just a report. So you won't need to ask for opposition or vote either way because those are the numbers.
Perfect. So we can just move on, right, Jonathan? Okay, thank you. Now we will be moving on to special presentations. This is just an informational training on the Appointments Review Committee, ARC, led by IVP Tommy. This is the good part, guys. Awesome.
All right, so hi everyone. So today I'm going to be doing like a quick little presentation on USAC appointments since we're going to be doing appointment discussions today. So to start off, so what is a USAC appointment? Basically sits on various committees and bodies within the university. Some examples include the UCLA Academic Senate is a notable one, our student representatives, an example of an appointment. They all have varying levels of power and can be appointed by the Office of the President, which has most appointments are through the Office of the President. In addition, AAC, the facility, or no, FAC, and then select other few offices are ones that are in charge of appointments. So basically, why would you want to be a USAC appointment? Basically, an important reason why we have appointments is to be able to have student input within these bodies, including advising on student opinion and advocacy. Some include, as I mentioned previously, the Academic Senate, UCOD, Campus Sustainability Committee, amongst others. So that being said, they are really critical to ensuring that the voices of the student body are present in spaces where the 15 of us may not be. Then they're also important for student involvement, direct action and power. They directly influence students' lives and make decisions and have a large influence on campus programs committees, including TGIF, ASUCLA, BOD, etc. So the Appointments Review Committee is the first one which we're going to be discussing today. Basically, it's chaired by myself, the internal vice president, and 3 council members, one of which includes our TSR. Time commitment is mostly in the summer and fall because we're trying to get our appointments filled sooner rather than later. We were a bit behind last year, so it's going to be a big priority for us to get them done efficiently this year and fast. So that being said, a big thing we're looking for when we're going to be talking about this committee in particular is being punctual and dependable. Also making sure that you're available this summer to be able to have tens of hours of meetings at sometimes odd hours. So please make sure if you're going to be volunteering for this committee or putting yourself in the hat to be appointed to this committee that you are going to be available this summer. Types of appointments include action, which they must go through an ARC interview, which is the Appointments Review Committee, as I just mentioned, must attend a USAC meeting for an interview with council. They'll come up here to the mic
They'll give a 1-minute opening, 15 minutes of question and answer, followed by 1-minute closing, and that's that. And then they must be voted on by council as a whole in order to be appointed. Next is consent. They must be voted on by ARC. The ARC interview is optional, depends on what ARC says. Must be approved by the USAC Council, and is there any opposition rather than a full vote. Appointments timeline. So after the USAC elections, appointment applications are open for the next term. Some offices release separate applications/interviews, including the Academic Affairs Commission. Applications deadlines vary. The Academic Senate usually has a stricter deadline, which is that those appointments are under AAC, but we will be sure to get a document published with all the open seats. I know there was one for last year, so I'll be working on putting that out and attaching it to my email sign off shortly. So what is the appointment process? Step 1, applicants applies at myUCLA or at thecampuslife.ucla.edu/committees. Appointing council member reads application and decides whether or not to move application forward to ARC. So whichever office those appointments sit under, they will decide if they move forward to ARC. If the candidate is forwarded to ARC after eligibility checks, so you must be like academically eligible and like have a clean record and stuff like that. So after those eligibility checks, ARC will interview them and vote. The vote includes yes, no, or abstain. And then finally, if the candidate passes the ARC interview, their application will be forwarded back to that appointing officer to then add them to the agenda for the formal appointment at a USAC meeting. Then the appointing council member looks over the notes, ARC votes, and chooses whether or not to move the application to be appointed by council. If the candidate is moved forward, they attend the USAC meeting in person or virtually, and council members can ask any questions they'd like. So be sure to be creative and ask questions a lot this year. After a council interview, ARC reveals their committee vote, and USAC discusses and deliberates whether they believe that this committee would be a good fit for the position. Then a council member can motion to approve the appointment or not. And then last notes, the appointment should be added to the agenda before Friday. That being said, I know we were a bit behind on adding like officer reports this Friday just because like I don't have everyone's maybe personal emails. People have not signed into their office emails. But the goal is to get the agenda out every day or every Friday before council by 5 p.m. That being said, just if you can make sure to get anything you plan on adding to me, and that includes appointments, by noon on Friday. That way we have time to be able to update the agenda and get that sent out. That would be amazing. Please pay attention to the appointment term, committee purpose, and how well your appointment will fit in. Communicate with your appointments throughout the year, gather updates, have them attend council meetings, etc. So just making sure the offices that appoint these individuals are really ensuring that the appointments are doing everything that they should be doing. And you are obligated to each other. So, any questions?
I'll just give some perspective on ARC. I was in ARC last summer, and it was a really big commitment. Josh, the former IVP, alongside Mona, the previous TSR, and I interviewed like dozens of candidates over the summer. These include the Judicial Board, and then right now it would be the ASUCLA Board of Directors, and then you have your on-campus committees, ASUCLA Communications Board. But yeah, if you are interested, please just make sure that your summer is available, that you are ideally in a North American time zone. And if you are in an Eastern time zone, please coordinate correctly. It's not fair to the IVP and the other committee members that you're not there when you chose to be on this committee.
I will be on an Eastern time zone this summer. However, I will be operating on y'all's time, so that means Pacific time. So don't be afraid of that if you're interested in joining ARC.
Great. Thank you, Tommy. We will now be moving on to officer reports. Just for like a brief context, I hope everyone, if you haven't, please share your officer report link to Tommy. The way will go today is just give a brief rundown if you want to say anything, but in like longer meetings, I might only have the executives say their officer report, and that's myself, the IVP, the external vice president, and the AAC, just for time. Or we might also just say like, all information is in my officer report, just to be brief. But yeah, for now, I'll just give you guys like a brief example of like how an overview is. Like this week, my officer reports, it's not long, but I reviewed ASUCLA Board of Directors applications. I reviewed the transition documents. I was in contact with KCBU from the Student Affairs teams to participate in the UCPT police chief group interviews, and I reviewed honorific naming committee applications. Tommy?
All of mine will be written today.
Sherry?
I set up my office, appointed heads of staffs, and we decided on a general hiring timeline, working on applications to send to HR, and setting up office hours for people. Transition-wise, I had my transition meetings with Javi, and getting introductory emails sent to administrative stakeholders as well as campus community organizations, and also transitioning into UCSA. And so meeting with all the EVPs across the UC, as well as meeting with our UC-wide federal gov relations team tomorrow. And for any of you who are interested in applying for an appointed position in UCSA, those applications close at the end of this week. And if you all have any questions about that, there's a ton of different positions if you want to get involved on the statewide level, so just reach out to me about that. And then setting up meetings with all of you and trying to get to know everyone in their offices. In regards to like advocacy related things, I've been working a lot with Harem on the Transfer Leadership Fair, which I'll let her talk about, but just like reaching out to people to get them signed up. And then the only other thing is we've been working really hard on like basic needs initiatives regarding Bruin Fresh and getting Bruin Dine daytime recovery program. And we have a meeting with the chair of the UC Regents, Janet Riley, which is scheduled on June 5th. So we've been preparing for that and trying to get all of that figured out before then.
Thank you. Talia?
My office report is pretty simple. I've just been in contact with some of the religious organizations to kind of finalize the interfaith resolution that I am hoping to bring to the table by next week. Everyone has a lot of ideas, and I want to be as inclusive as possible. If any of you guys are interested in being a part of that or reading the resolution or giving suggestions, please definitely reach out to me. Aside from that, working to put together applications for hiring staff to send to HR, and definitely want to work with Hiram to kind of talk about how we can do transfer outreach, just taking note of like the stats from last meeting with how few transfers are in office. So thinking about how we can reach incoming freshmen and also transfer students.
Jaya?
Very similar to everyone else, onboarding process, finalizing my applications and timeline with my recently appointed chief of staff, introducing the Safe Bits resolution today, which was sponsored with ASU. Excited about that. Connecting, I've been able to connect with multiple MOs, PISA, ASU, SP, and then also other supporting orgs, ABC, AB. You're talking about DEI rollbacks. Connected with student regents on their Brooks on DEI rollbacks, and we'll be following up with Vice Chancellor Gordon. Also had a recent meeting with EVP Sherry on Brewfest. Excited for a June 5th meeting and all the work we have to do. And yeah.
Brett?
Hi, so very similar to everyone else. Today I met with Chris to discuss the transition and hear about his initiatives, and have begun restructuring my office. I've appointed my internal head of staff, and we're working currently on director descriptions and applications and a timeline for that. We're planning on, we really want to aim for a lot of incoming transfers and current transfers for our office. So we're going to be pushing back our application until after the SIR, which is June 1st. So we'll probably come out with them on June 2nd. We encourage everyone else to do the same. But other than that, things are moving smoothly, and I'm going to begin meeting with other USAC offices and also our external student bodies on campus to discuss plans and priorities for the future. Thank you.
Chris?
Good evening, everyone. Similar to the others, I have also been working diligently on developing the executive board and directorship application for the AEC. I spent the majority of last week reviewing USIE applications for the 2025-2026 academic year. So selected individuals have already been notified that they will be facilitating their own respective courses. I met with Cara Brown from the USIE to explore enhancements to the current program model. I attended the Common Ground Collective Dialogue Across Difference events. I also met with the registrar, and I'm excited to share that the registrar has agreed to make our pilot program this past few months an official annual program. So now the ambassadors will be meeting monthly from around October through May to advocate for different policies at the registrar level. The rest will be written. Thank you.
Thank you. Daniel?
Hi, everyone. So this week, we actually just had an event today. We had an art exhibition and vendor fest out on Kirkhoff patio. We had over 30 vendors and artists show up today. It was a lot of fun. This Friday, we actually have our annual short films festival, Short Takes, at 6 p.m. in James Bridges. We had over 500 submissions from all over the world, which is really exciting. And our last event for the quarter is going to be Ultra Bloom next Friday out on Kirkhoff patio. And other than that, I've just been meeting with Robbie to help transition. And hopefully we'll be meeting with Divine soon to discuss Bruin Bash and EAF planning and our plans for our summer. So that should be exciting, a lot of fun. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Edison? Sorry.
Yeah, I have no updates beyond what is written in my officer report.
Thank you. Divine?
Yeah, so this Saturday was CAC's 60th anniversary reunion. It was great. It was nice to connect with CAC alumni. And yesterday was CAC's last event, Jazz Reggae Festival. It was an amazing turnout. No sound issues, so very excited for the next year for Jazz Reggae Fest, and just very proud of the CAC staff. And I started the volunteer onboarding process. And yeah, like Daniel said, hoping to meet soon with him to start playing Bruin Bash in EAF.
Joy?
So on Thursday, FACTS, Transportation Equity and Access, or T, Committee and EVP are attending the Metro Community Meeting to advocate for the Sepulveda Transit Corridor in preparation for the release of the draft Environmental Impact Report, or the DEIR, at Westwood Methodist Church. If you would like to come to this meeting, please meet us at the Inverted Fountain at 5:30 p.m. And sign up on the link in the FAC Instagram. Access on Board, or AOB, sent out a survey about study spaces on the Hill to improve its accessibility, availability, and comfort. If you use study spaces on the Hill and would like to give feedback on the survey, fill out the link also in the FAC Instagram. And on Thursday, the Disabled Student Union, or DSU, and I are meeting with Vice Chancellors Beck Gordon and Seplo to discuss reforming audits of CAE and campus accessibility and Bruin Access funding. If you would like to advocate alongside us in the meeting or in other disability accessibility initiatives, please let me know. Sustainables is planning their Sustainable Bruin Move Out event for students to donate their unneeded belongings to other students during UCLA Housing Move Out. The on-campus event will be on June 11th from 12 to 4, and the off-campus event will be on June 12th from 11 to 3. And then FAC is looking to appoint voting members for the Green Initiative Fund, or TJF, the John Wooden Board of Governors, and the Student Activities Center Board of Governors for the the next school year. So if you're interested in a role, please apply to the link that's in Tommy's signature. And then FAC is onboarding its new executive board members and is planning its summer hiring timeline for new directors and staffers.
Thank you, Hiram.
Hello. So TSR has kind of been on top of it, if I'm being honest. I restructured the TSR office into 3 branches. I kept a lot of it the same, but I split it up into California Community College and UC Relations, the external programs and platforms team, and then the internal relations team. And you guys can see all the director descriptions and stuff like that on my officer report. I also submitted literally everything and got feedback from HR on my application and interview material. So I am super excited to get started on my just hiring for my office. And I've been sending emails to various representatives from transfer centers at California community colleges alongside Jose, who's actually in the audience. Hey. So we've been working together to invite them to let their newly admitted UCLA students know about the TSR and EVP Transfer Leadership Fair, which if you aren't participating, you should be, because we want more transfers in all USAC offices, right? So this is just a great opportunity to get to advertise different director positions within your office. And yeah, like Brett kind of mentioned, I'm also going to release my applications after that June 1st SIR deadline for transfer students, just so we can get as many first-year transfers in the TSR office as possible. I've also been meeting with Kaya a lot to talk about the Bruin Buddies program becoming an international and transfer student-specific program, as well as just running the committee integration program together. And we hope to hire joint directors for both of our offices to run this program. And there's a lot more, but I wrote it all down so you guys can kind of check that out. Just be sure to sign up for the Transfer Leadership Fair if you haven't already. Please, that's like my pride and joy with Sherry, obviously. So please sign up. Thank you.
Thank you, Kaya.
So in terms of transition, I've been meeting with ISR Tamim and reviewing all his documents and previous initiatives. I met with the DASHU director, Sam, in order to reflect on last year's initiatives and plan on the year ahead with DASHU. Met with Sherry to strategize lobbying efforts for the International Student Office, as that's going to be important in the coming year. I've requested to connect with UCLA Housing in order to work on some initiatives. Been working with Hiram on Bruin Buddies, the CIS program, and we met with Brett and Hiram today to brainstorm on Bruin Buddies. I met with SWC Hannah to align on some joint initiatives and discussed making a quota for international students under the Bruin Necessities gift card and also bringing Global Bites to the teaching kitchen as well. All the director application is completed, office has been restructured, and the form and interview questions are all ready, everything's ready, and just waiting for admin approval. I attended the Manmukti meeting to propose the next a joint mental health event. Attended the Palestinian Student Union Gala to support their cultural representation. And we had the International Student Prom, which was a massive success. And ISR will be tabling at the Transfer Leadership Fair. I've been reviewing all the past year and reports, resolutions to familiarize myself with everything. And in terms of advocacy, we released a joint statement with the former ISR, Tamim Ahmed, responding to Harvard's SEVP termination and broader international student threats. And I've authored a resolution titled In Defense of SEVP Protections and International Security at UCLA, which has been added to the agenda today.
Thank you. And now we will move on to USAC resolution reports. Obviously, there hasn't been any resolutions been passed this academic year, but just a little bit about what this is that if you open it up, it includes the resolution title, the day it was passed, and you are supposed to provide an update in 2 weeks, 3 weeks after the resolution was passed and any action items that were taken or that are planned, just to hold everyone accountable. And then next we can move on to our administrative representatives, Orlando.
Hello, everyone. I wasn't here last week, so I just want to say congratulations to everyone on a well-deserved victories. I'm looking forward to working with you all this year. My only update is for those of you who may or may not belong to other registered campus organizations, please remember to update all your signatories. Information is going out now for that information, so that's important because during the summer and early fall, emails go out about re-registration for all groups. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thanks.
Orlando, who are you and what do you do?
Oh yeah, that's important too, huh? I'm just so used to just going on and on. My name is Orlando Luna. My day job is I am a SOL advisor. So those of you who may or may not be aware, SOL registers all campus organizations on campus. There are approximately 1,400 of you all, both undergrad, graduate, a few faculty, and a few extension, but mostly undergrad and graduate students make up the bulk of that. I advise approximately 180 to 200, mostly STEM graduate student groups and a few cultural groups. So some of you may recognize my name from emails that go out. I also am on the Dean of Students Conduct Committee. I'm also the representative that recruits for our student region here at UCLA. So I wear a few hats, and I have the privilege of advising you. Prior to this, I advised the Facilities Commissioner, and for a few years, I advised Judicial Board. I really enjoyed both of those roles. Judicial Board is always a unique space. If you ever have questions on that. Also, I've always wondered, when I was on that side of the fence with J Board, always, with cases against council, I used to always think, if I was on council's side, I definitely advise them to do this. So if you ever get in front of J Board, we'll be talking together. And so I am, and to finalize it, I am your University Student Affairs Admin Rep. Thank you. Thank you, Jonathan, for reminding me.
Sorry, y'all. I've been doing this for a while. Lori? No, Lorelai.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, we're the same. We share, name plaques. Hello, everyone. My name is Lorelai. I'm the Student Government Support Specialist. So I mainly work with Jonathan, but outside of that, Jessica and Pamela, who you'll soon learn their faces and names. But I mainly advise the funding chairs of your funding bodies that you just voted on today, some of which are like TGIF, the Academic Success Referendum, et cetera, all that long list. I mainly advise those chairs, which you will be appointing. So if you have any questions when it comes to student government accounting, I'm your girl. I can connect you with SGA. I can check any recs that you have outstanding for any of your events. Just let me know. But then beyond that, just any general advising. But with that, I'll get into a couple of updates. First one, this should apply to everyone since you're all very, active students. Whether you are newly elected or returning, rec deadline is the 20th of June. So any and all recs that are outstanding need to be submitted by then so we can close the fiscal year, and then beyond that, get to your carryover and all those beautiful things for the next year. Budget, you guys need some money for your offices. So the sooner that you submit and the sooner that any orgs that you're a part of submit, the better. And then beyond that, if you have any events from orgs you're associated with that are dealing with commencement, there will be a separate commencement deadline that following I believe it's Wednesday or Friday, the 27th, so 7 days after that one. Beyond that, Pamela Lewis, our Student Union Director of ASUCLA, will be hosting a Afternoon with Pamela, which is just going to be an hour or two where you can come by to her office, connect with her, have some refreshments. It's a great opportunity to connect with another admin at ASUCLA, learn about the connections you can make with the other entities as part of ASUCLA, as you are one of them. So any connections that way, she's a great resource to have. So stop by, get a cookie before you go to your meeting. It'll be next week from 5 to 7, so right before this event or this meeting. So if you could stop by there, I think it's a great resource Beyond that, as of today, all of you should have office access, excluding Talia, Brett, and Kea. And that is mainly because all of you were somewhat related to a USAC office beforehand, so we were able to transfer your access to your new offices. So for those 3 individuals, if you can come talk to me after the meeting, basically you'll just have to go to the BMs at the student info desk right down the hall and get your card encoded. And then from there, you'll be able to access your offices. Yay! And then for that, also, if you just need to get any of your directors or anyone else in your office access, you'll also go to the BMs at the student info desk and ask for a slip, and they'll provide that to you. You'll fill out the information of that individual and then sign off. And then from there, you all signed a paper that went around that was for signatures for your office that will be going to SGA, so that way you're able to sign off on any of your office expenses. For Chris and Hannah, I'll reach out to you separately since you're either not here today or you're via Zoom. Beyond that, thank you for attending the headshot session earlier today. I already received those headshots back, so I'll be putting those into a Google Drive. I know Dawn works very fast. Yeah, so I'll be putting those in a Google Drive, sending you a link, and then from there I'll have instructions where you just let me know which one of those headshots you'd like to go into the student union visuals, directories, displays, there you go. And then for those of you who didn't take headshots today, I'll be reaching out to you as well to get like your any preferred headshot that you already have. And then just wanted to thank you all of the those of you that I directly advise for either already meeting with me or scheduling a meeting with me. So glad to meet you and happy and excited to meet you if I haven't already. And then lastly, just wanted to point out that as you're going through the appointments process, to consider getting a FICOM or a finance commission or finance committee chair as soon as possible, so that way we can, get them transitioned if they're new, if they're returning, and just, be able to deal with all the SGA things that, are awaiting them. So that's all I had. I'm excited to meet you all. Happy that you're all here, and excited to work with those of you that are new, and really happy to be working with those of you who are returning. This will be my first council in full. So I'll be, yes, this is actually my first report as admin. But yeah, excited. Thank you so much.
Lori?
Hi, I'm Lori. I'm your other Student Affairs Administration representative. My day job is event production in recreation spaces, so I will be monopolizing Daniel and Divine over the summer. And happy to host any of your events in my spaces. I will we can chat this weekend at Leadership Academy if you have any ideas about things coming up for the fall, because I will pre-book for you guys, but don't tell anyone, even though this is on YouTube. Other than that, I attended Jazz Reggae and it was beautiful. I loved it. Divine, I have some lost and found from Jazz Reggae. Somehow made it to Polly with a big sign that says JRF Lost and Found. So if you want to send someone to Polly to pick it up, that'd be cool. It's a unique parting gift for someone. And then what else? Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything. Everything else is written.
Thank you. Jonathan? Wait, also, Jonathan, do you think you could just go over the details for the Leadership Academy over the weekend? Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, hi, hello, everyone. Welcome. I am the person that you get incessant emails from. I'm sure you've learned that already. I am Jonathan. I am your student government support manager here in ASUCLA. So I serve as your primary advisor from ASUCLA, but we're always here to help with everything. We're a big old team. But yeah, just in general, in both our job titles for Lorelai and I is the word support. Our full-time jobs are to support you. So please utilize us. Please don't hesitate in that regard at all. We're here for you because we like you all. So let's talk, let's hang out, all that kind of jazz. I do have a laundry list for you today, unfortunately, and I will do my best to keep it as short as possible. So some of this stuff is just general info for your term for you to know. So one of those is quarterly grade checks. So as part of being on a council, your constitution and bylaws require that you maintain a minimum 2.0 GPA and you maintain at least 4 units in residence during the regular academic quarter. So that means you need to be taking 4 units on campus during fall, winter, and spring in order to stay on council. If you don't meet those anymore, it is an automatic removal from council. So we will do the first of those checks probably during summer. If you anticipate that you're going to have any issues with those throughout the year, or as they come up, please talk to us sooner rather than later so that we can figure something out with you. Thank you, Tommy and Diego, for doing the appointments, a little training earlier today. I do just want to let you know, so the MyUCLA system that Tommy mentioned, we call it the workflow system. So everyone now is in the workflow system. So if you go into MyUCLA, you click on staff at the top and then workflow management. That will take you into our appointments application. Within your welcome packet is a whole step-by-step guide on how to navigate that system, and we're also happy to help you navigate that as you need. But we do require that you use that system for all of your appointments. The main reason being is that the system is built to automatically conduct eligibility checks. So it will not allow a student to even open the application unless they also meet that 4 units in residence and the 2.0 GPA. And our system is currently slightly down, so it's still up. You can still submit and look at applications. But the other check that has to occur is with the Dean of Students office for conduct. So our system is going under some renovation in these next week or two to make that process even more automatic and simple for you all. So in these coming weeks for your next meeting and probably through the middle of June, I will work directly with ARC, but I will need to send the names of people you're considering to the Dean of Students directly. I have to do that because they will not provide that information to a student. They have to give it to a professional staff. But that should be back up mid-June, and everything should be ready there for you. Your meetings start at 7 o'clock. Just as a little for your bylaws, kind of what that means, right? So 7 o'clock is your scheduled start time. That's when you've told students you will begin. It is great to respect students' time and your other fellow council members' time and try to be here to start at 7, not arrive at 7. But there is also quorum stipulations within your bylaws and your constitution. So 10 council members during the regular academic year have to be present in order for you to start your meeting and in order for you to vote on anything. The meeting has to be called to order within the first 10 minutes after the scheduled time. So in this case, every week your meeting has to be called to order before 7:10. If it's not, it's automatically canceled, the meeting. If within 10 minutes, so if by 7:20 there are not 10 council members here and present and ready, the meeting is also automatically canceled. So it's really important that everyone be here and be here on time so that you can have your meetings and get them done. That's a great transition into your attendance policy. So as you know, you got passed around an attendance sheet to sign at the beginning. Your bylaws stipulate that you have to sign that sheet within the first, I believe it's 20 minutes of the meeting start, and then also at the beginning of the final agenda item. You need to sign both times in order for that to count as your attendance. You cannot sign for someone else. And you are only able to miss 1/3 of the meetings scheduled per quarter. So in a regular academic quarter, that's going to mean you can miss 3 meetings. If you miss 4 per your bylaws, that is a stipend check that you lose. And every meeting beyond that is an additional stipend check that you lose. So your attendance is really important. just also in general, the students elected you to be here and to be doing this work. So it's great to be here. With that, I also want to encourage you to review your guiding documents. You have a constitution and bylaws. They can be overwhelming, I know that, but it's really important because it guides what you can and can't do and how you should do things. So particularly, I recommend looking at your own section. Each office has a section within the bylaws that delineates its duties and responsibilities. And seeing what is out of date, what is in date, what you want to add or remove, and working through the Constitutional Review Committee process to make any necessary bylaw changes. A reminder that you all will need to vote on your summer meeting schedule next week. So your summers are different. You usually have a lower quorum requirement because it can be more difficult to get everyone together. You often go fully virtual, and you often don't go, you do every other week often. But that'll be up to you all to depend, and you need to decide that next week. I sent out an email today with the summer parking permit request form. I will do this every quarter as an elected officer and participant of ASU CLA. You get the staff price for a parking permit on campus. You still have to pay for it. These are not free. I want to stress that. We as staff still have to pay for it. So that form is now open. If you're interested in a permit for this upcoming summer quarter, go ahead and fill that out and we'll go from there. It's only open to the elected officers currently. We get a certain allotment of permits to give out every quarter. And if there are extra permits after all of the electeds have put in their requests, then I'll let you know that you can send that form out to any of your office volunteers if they would like to get a permit as well. Your permit is only good for that particular quarter and you have to redo that process every quarter. Now that you are getting into your offices, I do want to put out there to please talk to Lorelai or I as soon as possible if you expect to have any accessibility needs for your office, just in general, but particularly for the summer. So this summer, starting at the end of this academic year, the singular elevator in Kirkhoff will be down for renovation the entire summer long. So since all of your offices are either on the 3rd or 4th floors, the only way to access your offices during the summer will be by stair. So keep that also in mind if you're thinking of things like moving boxes or furniture, only by stair. So if you do have accommodation needs, please let Lorelai and I know, and we will work and get you something for the summer. And that elevator will be back online before the academic year starts in fall. If you have not been given access to your office social media accounts by now, please let Lorelai and I know, and we will get you access. You should have that by now. If you have not completed your module set 1, it was due yesterday. I will be kind to you all this week and next week. I'll always be kind to you all. But I won't call you out this week and next week with late items, but do be put on notice that in the future, if you have things outstanding, I have no hesitation to say your name in this officer report. Additionally, if you didn't receive your transition folder, that includes the past couple years of officer reports for your role, your office bylaws, the transition documents we've gotten from your predecessors, please let Lorelai or I know. Those should have gone out last week. Starting next week, we will only be sending things to your official emails. So you all should have access to your official council emails by Friday, by end of day this coming Friday. So starting next week, we won't send anything to your personal emails anymore. We'll only use your official emails. Abstaining. So when you're in a meeting, particularly when it comes to funding, you've noticed Diego's asked for a yes, no, or an abstention. An abstention is really going to be reserved for those times where you truly don't have enough information to make an informed vote, or you have a direct conflict of interest. Now, when it comes to funding, particularly this happens often with like contingency programming, right? If your office applied for contingency programming and is in this week's allocations, you should be abstaining from that vote because you have a direct financial interest in the outcome of that vote, which means you have a direct conflict of interest. So if you have any questions about that kind of stuff, don't hesitate to let us know. I am a certified parliamentarian. It's true. uh, next, I have said this in some of my one-on-ones, but I mean it for truly everyone at any time. You are always welcome in our office. We are located just down the hall here where the post office is. There's that student union information window. Back in there is an office suite. You're welcome to ask the folks at the desk if we're in, if you like, if you're too nervous. Otherwise, you're welcome to just walk right in and walk on back. We're down the hall. Truly, my favorite times are when you all come in with a question, or you've had a good day, or you've had a bad day, or whatever. We want to build those relationships with you, and we want to be accessible to you in that way, because again, our full-time job is to support you. If your predecessor had any outstanding bills that you're aware of, I highly implore you to work with them to get those paid as soon as possible. The reason that I make it kind of your business is because if your predecessor has bills and they don't pay those bills this year, those bills will come up next year and they will have to come out of your budget. Particularly for those offices that don't have a ton of money, that can throw everything off for you. So please work with your predecessor to make sure all of their bills are paid. Otherwise, those bills become your bills. Thank you to everyone that has completed their onboarding agreements. There are just a couple of you left. If you have completed your onboarding agreement, then your information has been sent to ASUCLA HR to start the onboarding process through them. So you will not get sent to HR until you submit that agreement. So if you have not, I encourage you to do so as soon as possible because you will not get your stipend until it is done. If you have completed it, you should be receiving outreach hopefully this week from HR. Depending on your situation, you'll either have to go into their office to provide some sort of verification documents, or we might have to work with an employer of yours if you have a separate employer on campus. And if you do get outreach from them, I encourage you to do that as soon as possible because again, your stipend, you will still get your full stipend amount, but your pay cannot begin until not only they verify all those documents, but then they have to put in a bunch of transactions that candidly take a couple weeks. That's out of everyone's control. So the sooner that you do it, the sooner you will get your first paycheck. You will still get your full paycheck amounts regardless. If you're due back, we'll get you that back. But it's in your best interest to do it as soon as possible because you'll get your pay sooner. Reminder that next week you all need to appoint both of your ASUCLA Board of Directors representatives. Those have to be done by next Tuesday night. So I encourage you all to look at the apps and I'll do all that kind of jazz. Let me know what questions you have. But BOD needs those appointments before the end of this year. Yeah.
What's the latest those ARC interviewees can be added to the agenda, like Friday or like?
Yeah, I mean, if it needs to be where you add it day of, that's fine.
Okay.
I know this is a short. Yeah, you're doing your best.
Yeah.
Similarly, if you have not signed up or scheduled your one-on-one with me yet, please do so. I would love to chat. And then, as I heard many of you mention, thank you for your HR review of your staff office member applications. So shouts out to Hiram and Edison, who both already have full approval from HR and can now go live. You cannot go live with any onboarding until you have approval from Human Resources. If you have put anything up already, it needs to be taken down. Everything else should be submitted to that form. There's more info in your hiring module, as well as the policy doc, but we're also always here to answer your questions. But HR did let me know that they are going to be out of the office the last 2 days of this week. So if you haven't submitted, I highly encourage you to do it now so you could potentially get it back this week. Otherwise, you're going to be waiting until at least next week in order for your applications to go live. I will say we use a lot of acronyms, like a lot of acronyms. So please never hesitate to interrupt us or let us know when we're using an acronym that you don't understand, because I want you to know what you're talking about. And honestly, a lot of these are just like force of habit for us. So we will do our best to say out all of our acronyms for the next couple weeks, but just keep that in mind. And then lastly is your leadership retreat South Bay weekend this weekend. Excuse me. I'm happy to announce that everyone will be there, and your administrative advisors will also be there with you. Lorelai will be the one meeting you at the bus down here at Luskin. So please, please, please take a look at those emails that I sent out from Student Affairs. There'll be one more. No, actually, I think that might be the last one. But if you have any questions, let us know. Particularly, there is a handful of you that have not done your strengths quest yet. That was due last week, and they have requested that those be done at latest by end of day tomorrow. It's so that they can prep your activities. So please, if you haven't done your strengths quest, you have got a unique code in your email, and if you have problems with that, feel free to let me know. Other than that, I am so happy to see you all. It's going to be a wonderful year. Just quick in general in terms of contact stuff with us. So in student government services, our hours are kind of unique because we come here with you all on Tuesday evenings. We don't come into the office until around noon on Tuesdays. So if you're ever looking for us at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday, I promise you I'm still in bed. Similarly, if things go late on Tuesdays, we come in a little later on Wednesdays. So afternoons tend to be better for us in that sense, but otherwise we're working 9 to 5-ish, sometimes later, sometimes earlier, and just Monday through Friday. But my phone number is on your welcome guide. I have a work phone. So if texting is your preferred modality, feel free to shoot me a text. Otherwise, Slack and email. I know Lorelai's Slack and email preferred. Yeah. I can't wait. We got this. Wonderful year. Okay.
Peter? And then also share your position.
Sure. First off, I just wanted to congratulate y'all for running a great campaign and like stepping up to be the next, council for the student body. You earned this, and obviously the real work and the real opportunity starts now, as you know. And the summer is just going to be a great way for you to like sort of get organized and plan what you want to accomplish this year. Just a little bit about me. I'm Peter Trin. I went to UCLA, so I sat in your shoes about 25 years ago or something like that. I worked in the entertainment business. I was a motion picture and talent agent for about 20 years and also work in hospitality. So currently I own a beverage and events company that takes me all over North America for various events that you may have heard of or not. So, but as an alumni, like I mentioned, I sat where you sat. Like I was actually student welfare commissioner in 2002. So if you were good at math, you just figured out my age. So, I made flyers. I led meetings. I stayed late. I went to wrong meeting rooms all the time, and worked endlessly to, just work on some programming, some advocacy that I wanted to get through at UCLA. So some of the things when I was a commissioner and on council, we started a little thing called Dance Marathon. So Dance Marathon existed as of that year. And then we also started UCLA Run Walk and a bunch of other cool things like that. So, I can tell you it's going to be a very time sensitive year for you. Like I had to juggle a lot with like grades and that luckily I didn't ever go under 2.0 and get a call from, the dean of students or anything. But you have a real chance to like make a really big impact here. And I obviously know that you all know that, but it's what you make of it, right? And so here, like I'm the alumni rep essentially. And so I'm here to just be a mentor if you want, not tell you what to do, not just advise you and help you do better. And so I'm gonna get a lot more involved this year. Just obviously came in like mid-year last year or so and just sat around, just like sort of just educated myself on y'all and like what what's important to the current student body and the upcoming student body, et cetera. So all I would leave it with is, keep trying bold ideas, fail fast, learn faster, things like that. And I'm here to help. And there were a lot of issues when I was in your shoes, and I tried to navigate it. And some I won and some I didn't. So.
And thank you, Peter, for the food today.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for the food. It was so good. Where's it from? Oh, okay. It was really good. It was really good. Thank you. Now we can move on to new business. So wait, Jonathan, just for confirmation, how does this work? Action item or?
Yeah, yes, if you're wanting to vote on particularly ARC tonight, you'll just need to vote to make it an action item since it wasn't before the agenda was approved.
Okay. So can someone motion to make it an action item? There you go.
I motion to make appointment to ARC an action item tonight.
I second.
Tommy motions. Daniel seconds. All in favor? Please put your hands down. All against, all abstaining with the votes of 13 to 0 to 0. That passes, so we will now be voting on appointments review committee. So, yeah.
However you'd like to do it.
Yeah, so I'll pass it on to Tommy.
All right, so we're just kind of gonna have a discussion. So of like who's interested in being a part of ARC and yeah, and then hopefully we'll end up. So we're looking for a total of 2 others aside from Hiram and myself to be on ARC for this coming year. We can technically run the committee with just 1 other. 2 others would be great. However, in order to meet quorum for ARC, we do need 3 as the minimum at all times. So for anyone who wants to start and explain or.
Jaya?
Yeah, I'm interested. I have no summer internship, so I will make sure I am available. I will also be in Pacific time zone, so I know Tommy will be abiding by my time. As you know, I am a very dependable person. I am always checking my phone to the point where I respond within 2 minutes of your text. And if you don't respond until within 2 minutes of my text, I am pissed off and going to your office. So I think I will be very dependable. I've also previously worked with who will be the chair of ARC, Tommy, and Tommy can attest to that. So that is my little spiel on why I think I should be on ARC. And also, I want to acknowledge that the platform that I ran on and general represented and that I have followed serving on the board of UC Student Association, serving as exec on Tommy's previous office as general representative too, and serving on the Black Student Affairs team. I bring an intersectional approach to appointing that no one else can do.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Sherry?
I have a question. The 4th member of ARC, are they an alternate or are they just like a?
No, they're an actual committee member.
Okay.
So ideally you would be there at all the meetings as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm interested. I think, well, EVP doesn't have a ton of appointments, so I'm very interested. Also, I will be in North America for the summer. I do have a summer internship, but I'm pretty flexible, I would say, and willing to put in as much time as necessary towards this, because I think that appointments are incredibly important, especially the ones that we have in the next couple of weeks, particularly ACCLA Board of Directors. And so, yeah, would be very interested. And I think that the EVP office and the work that we do brings a lot of important insight to some of these appointments. So, yeah.
Perfection. Also, can you guys please raise your hand if I can't see you? Thank you. Is there anyone else interested in the appointment review committee? No, you. I mean, if you want, yeah, you can share your opinions and your perspectives.
Hello. It's in the bylaws that the transfer student representative has to be on ARC. And I did my research before I was even elected into this position, by the way. I wanted to be on ARC so bad that I looked through the bylaws and I was like, okay, transfer student represent, like this is what I'm gonna argue. But anyways, I think that transfer representation is so important. We make up literally a quarter of UCLA, and I think that deserves to be reflected in our committees that we appoint to. So yes, please. I know that you have to have me, but please.
Of course. And then, yeah. Just try to, yeah, if you're interested in ARC, please consider that all the applicants are diverse and obviously take their experiences into consideration.
So anybody else, or do you all hate me? All right. Well, do we have to vote on it or? Oh, okay. So I motion to appoint Hiram, Jaya, and Sherry to, and myself, to the Appointments Review Committee for the 2025-2026 academic year.
I second the motion.
Who seconded? Oh, yeah, no.
You want to do it,
good.
Brett?
No, you're good. Tommy motions, Talia seconds. All in favor? Yeah, Jonathan, do they have to abstain if they're in it? Okay. Yep. Yeah, okay, great. Please put your hands down. All against? All abstaining with a vote to 13 to 0 to 0. That has been approved. Congratulations, new Appointments Review Committee members. Have a fun summer. Can I just strike the following three? Yeah, we'll be removing and we will be tabling them for next week's meeting. However, we will be appointing people. So please, yes, tell me.
And then I'll be sending out like descriptions of each of the other committees just so everyone can like educate themselves on what they do, kind of their commitments. So prior to next meeting, if you're interested in joining one of the following three, please just take a look and read over the descriptions. I'll email them to all of you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are we also appointing for OSAC?
Yes, that is going to be next week. Divine.
I have a question as well. For the other three committees, would they also be summer commitments?
No, there won't be significant summer commitments, except for appointment search committee. I think, Tommy, you can share more about that one.
Yeah, so Appointment Search Committee didn't really do anything last year, but we're committed to doing things differently this year, which means Appointment Search, your responsibility is to go out and find people that should fill these appointment spots. So that way we have a lot of applicants and hopefully we all get these spots filled really fast.
Yeah, the next three aren't going to be major commitments over the summer, just like small commitments throughout the next year. Sorry, can you repeat that, Jayo? Appointment Search Committee, Bylaw Review Committee. Jonathan, you can take it.
Budget Review.
Budget Review Committee. Constitution Review Committee. Okay. Acronyms are important. As a current council member. Oh, Talia?
Reached out and said that they applied like a little bit ago. So would those applications be considered now, or like should I tell them to like reapply or something?
Yeah, for what?
They applied for like one of the appointments for academic senate, I believe. But I don't know if they like had the wrong application or like if those were even open, but
Jonathan?
If they've applied within the past month, Chris, look at applications from the past month. Otherwise, if they haven't applied within the past month, I'd say they should apply again.
yeah, I think it was like I think this was like a while ago. So I will tell them to reapply.
Perfection. Great. Now we will be moving on to resolutions. We will start with a resolution in defense of SEVP protections and international security at UCLA. Kaya, if you would like to read over the resolution or give a brief description, it's completely up to you.
I will read over the resolution.
Perfect.
This is a resolution in defense of SEVP protections and international security at UCLA. Whereas the University of California, Los Angeles is home to over 12,000 international students and scholars who comprise approximately 13.8% of the student body, making vital contributions to UCLA's academic excellence, research output, cultural richness, and global reputation. And whereas international students at UCLA pursue education under F1 and J1 visa categories, which require institutional certification under the Federal Student and Exchange Visitor Program, which is the SEVP, overseen by the Department of Homeland Security, DHS. And whereas on May 22nd, 2025, the DHS revoked Howard University's SEVP certification, thereby stripping its ability to enroll international students, following demands for disciplinary records and administrative compliance unrelated to federal immigration law, a move which appears politically motivated and has generated widespread national concern. And whereas SCVP certification is the foundation of international student legal status in the US, and its revocation at one of the nation's leading academic institutions sets as a dangerous precedent by politicizing immigration policy enforcement and jeopardizing student mobility and educational continuity across the country. And whereas the revocation threatens not only visa status, but access to work authorizations, including CPT and OPT healthcare, housing, and research opportunities, all of which are contingent on continuous enrollment in a certified SEVP institution. And whereas international students are already systematically excluded from federal financial aid, must pay non-resident tuition, face limitations on employment, and are likely to experience financial strain, legal precarity, and mental health stresses than their domestic peers. And whereas international students contribute over 38 billion annually to the US economy, including over 6 billion in California alone, and are deeply embedded in critical university functions such as research labs, healthcare training programs, and innovation ecosystems. And whereas UCLA lacks a publicly documented institutional response protocol for SEVP revocation or federal scrutiny, leaving students without clear guidance, crisis contacts, or legal navigation tools in the face of federal intervention. And whereas previous examples of abrupt federal policy shifts, including the 2020 attempt to deport international students enrolled in online classes, demonstrate the need for preemptive university-level planning, transparency, and student legal protection infrastructure. And whereas the Undergraduate Students Association Council has a responsibility to advocate for the welfare, rights, and academic continuity of all students, including those whose enrollment is contingent on international visa programs. Let it be resolved that the Undergraduate Students Association Council formally condemns the revocation of Howard University's SEVP certification and expresses grave concern about the politicization of immigration enforcement against higher education institutions. Let it further be resolved that USAC calls upon UCLA to publicly reaffirm its SEVP certification status and issue a student-facing statement clarifying the university's commitment to protecting international students' enrollment rights and legal standing. Let it further be resolved that USAC urges UCLA's administration, the DashU Center, and Global Engagement Office to 1. Develop and publish a clear crisis response protocol in event of SEVP revocation or federal review. 2. Expand funding and access to immigration legal services for international students, including partnerships with immigration attorneys, pro bono legal clinics, and the UCLA School of Law's Immigration Rights Clinic. 3. Host regular information sessions and policy briefings regarding SEVP compliance, OPT, CPT, and work visa pathways, and multilingual materials. 4. Integrate international student representation into all institutional decision-making bodies related to immigration policy, enrollment status, and federal audits. 5. Coordinate with peer institutions across UC and CSU systems to build a statewide contingency framework in defense of SEVP stability and student rights. Let it further be resolved that USAC recommends the improvement of the status and immigration resource hub, housed on the DashU Center website, which shall 1. Clearly display UCLA's SEVP certification status and relevant DHS policy changes. 2. Provide timelines, guidance, and FAQ sheets on maintaining F1 and J1 status. 3. Include legal, housing, employment, and mental health resources tailored for visa holding students. 4. Feature emergency contact tools and rapid response escalation instructions. Let it further be resolved that the Undergraduate Students Association Council urges that the UCLA Academic Senate to issue timely guidance to faculty affirming that under current UCLA policy, they may provide hybrid access, including synchronous and asynchronous modalities for students who may be unable to attend in person due to immigration-related concerns or safety issues. And let it finally be resolved that USAC calls for the establishment of an advisory board composed of administrators, legal experts, international student leaders, and faculty with immigration law expertise to ensure institutional responsiveness, transparency, and ongoing policy review.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions about the resolution? Yes, Tommy.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I remember reading something, was it blocked by a federal judge?
It's on hold by a federal judge, so it's not completely blocked, but it's just on hold.
And then one other thing, I was wondering if maybe, I know they announced it today, but maybe there's something we want to add, or maybe like make a friendly amendment. I know that the Trump administration, I believe, put a pause nationwide currently, unlike the admitting of like international students as a whole. They said something about like, I think it was like the restructuring of the process to obtain the visa.
So to clarify, what Trump has done, what the administration has done right now is put a halt to visa interviews to admit international students in order to impose more social media screenings before they start readmitting students. We can add that, but it's a bit unrelated just because that's like visa interviews to get visas itself.
This is amazing. That is why you know, we all co-sponsor this. We want to support this initiative. I think just some things I have, I agree with everything that's being said on here. I know Tamim, I worked with Tamim in UCSA capacity on meeting with UC Academic Senate, and they declined our resolution that unanimously passed by UC Student Association Board because of legality issue in regards to providing the hybrid access. However, what we were recommended with internally our own academic senate was finding there was some, I don't know if any of you guys know, like there was some policy that professors provide their own hybrid option to their own discretion without needing confirmation from administration. That was something that we were trying to search for from each campus, and we weren't able to get any clarity on that. I know Tamim recently had a meeting with UCLA's Academic Senate. Can you provide any information on what happened at that meeting?
I don't have information on the specifics of that meeting, but I did meet Tamim right before this, and I told him that, and I did mention that I've added the hybrid access just to push for it again. So I guess all we can do is retry.
I absolutely agree. I don't think
the policy that allows for professors to provide like hybrid or virtual modalities is called the Student Distance Education Policy. And so through that, Tamim and a couple other people reached out to the ISR's academic senate appointment, and they like personally reach out to like every single department. But obviously that's like difficult because some of the departments like didn't like follow it, but some of them did. So yeah, if that provides any clarity.
I don't want to be rude, but please just raise your hand and then I can call on you. No, you're good. You're good. Just procedure. Is there anybody else? Questions, comments? Yes, Lori.
Nothing about content. I just want to say that was very well written and very clear on what you are urging the university to do. So when you guys write a resolution, keep that in mind.
Yeah, great first resolution.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, then we can motion to a vote. Can someone please motion? Tommy?
All right. I motion to approve a resolution in defense of SEVP protections and international security at UCLA.
Is there a second?
Second.
Tommy motions, JS seconds. All in favor, please raise your hand. Please lower your hands. All against? All abstaining? With a vote to 13 to 0, that resolution passes. Congratulations. Our first resolution. Okay, next we can move on to, sorry, too many times. Next we can move on to JS resolution, a resolution in support to save, a resolution in support of to save VIPS initiatives and rejection of pausing AAP access and retention programs. Again, you can share the entire resolution or you can just give a brief summary. It's up to you.
Summary, I think you guys can just read it on your own, at your own discretion. Yes, this was the resolution that multiple community members from African Student Union, VIP scholars, and student workers, as well as SP, came to public comment on. As you know, this program is in partnership with Los Angeles County Schools and community organizations, which emerge in response to serve educationally disadvantaged and underdeserved students. It has 100% high school graduation rate, and 53% of these students matriculate into UCLA. It is predominantly the foundation of Black matriculation at UCLA. It is predominantly the foundation of Black retention or retention rates at UCLA, which disproportionately there is a gap at Black retention at higher education universities. I don't have anything else to say. I think our community members very much said it, but I will say one of the biggest things that is barring community members from understanding this is the lack in transparency. If this is really a budget cut, or is it necessarily a DEI cut and they're advocating reallocating this funds to something else? That's the transparency we don't have from Chancellor Frank. He has not been transparent to Student Regent Sonia Brooks, as I just communicated with her. Their last recent meeting this past week, he said he was not aware of any cuts to any programs. However, AAP sends this email out letting people know not only will VIPs be cut, GPS will be cut. FSP and TSP cuts. And coincidentally, who does this program primarily serve? Black or brown students at UCLA, primarily Black students. So I just want to bear that in mind. And speaking on behalf and with African Student Union, who is a primary sponsor, I cannot pressure you guys to vote on this or nor to deny it. However, if you are campaigning on this promise to support Black students and you deny this, you are actively you're actively doing the opposite of supporting Black students at UCLA, which I read all your platforms. I know who said they were committed to DEI interfaith at UCLA. So I am looking and ASU is also looking. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jaya. Are there any comments or questions on the resolution? Yes, Talia.
I think the resolution is amazing, just like from my personal knowledge. So like were the organizations that like AAP, when they sent out the email, what was like the reason like they were given? Like were they even given any information?
Yes.
As
It's budget cuts and it's trickle down from federal administration cuts. Gavin Newsom introduced his fiscal budget for the next year, and it was aware that we would have an 8% UC cut. However, with just most recent information, it is now a 3% cut, which, you know, is obviously increasingly better, but they are still overall, like proportionally targeting DEI programs and not prioritizing them, but Chancellor Frank is not giving us any information on what programs he will be prioritizing, not prioritizing, which that is included in one of the let it be resolved clauses. We need transparency on what programs they are picking and choosing, and we want there to be active transparency. If it's not really a budget cut, say it's a DEI cut, why are you not communicating to AAP students and staff what the actual issue is?
Anyone else? Yes, Divine.
This resolution is well written. Thank you so much, Jaya. And thank you for bringing light about the transparency of the budget cuts. This is so important as a FSP student. AAP and FSP have changed my life, and I know so many people so many BIP scholars, and again, like this initiative is so important, and thank you for starting.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Jay.
One more thing. I just wanted to say thank you to ASU, VIP Scholars, SP, SLAP, Harambee Council, and Akabayan UCLA, sorry, butchered that, for signing on to this as a supporting org, and African Student Union coming out and taking their time out of the day to come and public comment along with their VIP Scholars. This resolution would not be here without you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you to council members for co-sponsoring this. I appreciate you all so much, and I hope you all can support this.
Thank you. Can we move on to a motion, please? Yes.
I motion to approve, wait, is that the word?
So yeah, motion and then name the resolution.
I motion to approve the resolution in support of Save VIPS initiative and rejection of pausing AAP access and retention programs.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded? Sherry seconds. Her motions, Sherry seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Great. Please lower your hands. All against, all abstaining, with a vote to 13 to 0, that resolution passes. Congratulations. And that concludes. Yeah, Jonathan?
Hi, sorry. Before you adjourn, your little paper name tents, if you leave them here, we'll bring them for you next week. And you all will get actual ones in the fall. We just have to actually get them engraved. And then in your little folios that you got today are your own business cards, as well as an off-campus card. I highly, highly, highly encourage you to take a photo of that and take it anytime you go on a retreat, whatever it may be. It's got all the numbers and info there for if and when something happens off campus, and it does happen. So that's all. Thank you.
Yay, everyone. Okay, great. Then that means that I adjourn this meeting at 9:10 p.m.